We're going to be talking about from regulatory returns to data exchange. Our two speakers are going to have a chit-chat around this notion. Yeung, he's the Chief Digitalization Officer at Hong Kong Monetary Authority, and Kelvin, he's the Chief Information Officer at Securities and Futures Commission. So please welcome them on stage.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining this discussion here today. It's a pleasure to have Kelvin from SFC today together with us in these discussions here. To start with, as the theme of this topics highlights, global and local regulators have all evolved quite rapidly in terms of regulatory data collection these days. So there are generally two major development areas here in these topics here. The first one is around data, and the second one is around platform. So on data side, various regulators has begun to collect more data from our regulators here, including some unstructured data and also more granular transactional data here. And on the platform side, we all have been introducing various new ways of data exchanges between parties, replacing legacy approach that were a bit more unilateral here. To start with, Kelvin, maybe we could start with looking into a bit of how we leverage these data here to conduct a bit more, for example, new content analysis, and also conducting various type of prudential research here based on our different policy objectives here. To build out our data strategy here. Maybe let's start with a bit more like sharing some success to the audience here in this stage. Can you highlight some of your success story in SFC on this space?
Sure, Derek. Thank you for your introductions. And I think everybody should think it is very crucial for everyone to start considering data as the foundation layer. Before we can collaborate large amount of data, we first need to digitalize our data, and then so that we can put our data into different processes, into different common platforms, so that we can store, process, perform instant analytics on all this data. So one of the examples that we have is to put all our data into our document management system, enterprise-wide, so that we can use federated search to search common taxonomy across all the documents. We have more than 10 million documents in our document management system, so that we can search them and then to a specific case investigation, so that we can extract the information using NLP, natural language processing, AI, so pertain to our cases. And then we can correlate all this information to a particular information lead to our investigations. This is one of the examples that we have. Another very good example is in a recent situation that we have like 100 boxes of documents and bank statements. So could we do it with manually reconcile all these statements? So we actually put it into using natural language processing and put it into standard format. And then we can put additional algorithm to calculate all this transaction and bank entries to identify suspicious fund flow, recurring fund flow, that matching each other. That's how we identify so many anti-money laundering activities related to certain cases. And that helps a lot in terms of manually going through like 100 boxes of a statement. That is, first, very labor intensive. Secondly, it's almost not quite possible to do it. So those are the couple of cases that we currently using intelligent automation plus AI, and then to basically give us a very comprehensive digital platform so that we can have straight-through processing for analytics.
Well, got you, Kelvin. Well, here in the HAMA, we take a similar approach as well. We take all those. Starting 2019, HAMA has introduced granular data reporting to collect granular transactional data from the industry. We do take a similar approach that we build our centralized data platform and store all these data in place and make them available for advanced analytics. One of the key examples that I can highlight here is around the residential mortgage loan here. We have been collecting these residential mortgage loan transactional data from the banks in an incremental or progressive fashions here. While once we collect all these data from the banks, we have been applying different types of advanced analytics technologies like ranging from traditional statistical analysis to a bit more advanced like machine learning. We do, in particular, leveraging auto ML technologies to try out different types of machine learning model and see if we could get some additional insights from all these granular data we collect from the banks. Another interesting one that I can highlight here is we do try to correlate all these data we collect around mortgage loans together with some climate change data, for example, looking into like if these like extreme weather or extreme climate is going to have any impact on those, like for example, credit scoring, credit rating stuff here. So these are a lot of additional analytics that we can't perform without collecting all these additional granular data from the banks. So that's really what some of the interesting topics that we would definitely want to continue to invest and extend that to other transactional areas as well.
That's great. I think, so if you guys want to see whether the property market is going which direction, you better go to the HKMA site and look at the result of their analysis. We actually have a similar situation on the Wings portal.
Yeah.
The few years ago, that we're still on a web portal basis, and then we basically exchange our information based on electronic forms. About 2 years ago, we actually used a new technology. We basically built a private cloud on using microservices architecture. We basically build different components like e-payment, signature, and we have our own proprietary Wings mail that we can, on SSL, that we can communicate with external on a secured basis. So we basically, that platform help us to develop a lot of exchange with the external user. So that actually create a handshake with the external user and shorten the reporting period and also the compliance transparency. Any information they put on there, we can immediately collect full API, application program interface, and then directly feed through the back-end analytical platform so that we know immediately whether the brokerage comply to our rules of capital reservation, concentration risk, and all this. One interesting thing is I came across one of the intermediate brokers. They actually told me that we don't need to monitor the capital reservation anymore. And actually, SFC will tell them whether their capital reservation is good enough and significant enough. So this is, I think, the transparency and time shortening that we can work with the market to achieve that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And here in the HAMA, we do take a similar approach here. While definitely we learn quite a lot of lessons from your Wings implementations here, we do have our implementation of our latest data collection platform as well. We name that as Common Submission Platform, so which is largely similar to what Wings is trying to achieve here, but we are more facing off to the banks here. So we start with building our web portals to allows banks to exchange data with us in a more user-friendly or more modernized way. But also at the same time, we're exploring into stepping into like we've mentioned, leveraging APIs and also other more modernized channels technologies to collect data from our regulators in a way more timely manner here. And also at the same time, while we are building out this platform here, we are also trying to interact a bit more with the industry to hear what the industry is expecting from us here. We do conduct some complete industry consultations here with the industry to hear from the banks what sort of capabilities they're expecting from us. And that's helped us to co-create our feature roadmaps here so that we can build a platform that fit everyone's needs and really aiming at to streamline everyone's operation. And at the end of the day, we could help to lower the cost of compliance here. Having said that, while we are having some collaborations with our global regulators peers here, we do observe quite a strong trend on everyone is exploring to leverage a bit more APIs in data collection. But there is also another interesting topic that everyone is also exploring, which is generative AI. People are starting to look into how we could leverage these very powerful AI capabilities to help us to streamline more on the data collection programs here, like help us to perform more like data validation or help us to facilitate a bit more, for example, machine readable taxonomy or these stuff. So definitely there are lots of interesting topics that we are looking into to help to streamline and optimize our data collection process here.
Sure. Derek, would you mind sharing with us some of the lessons learned you have during you set up your platforms?
Yeah, sure. I think, well, when we talk about like data and analytics, we can't separate that out from technologies here. One of the key lessons learned that we have taken is when we're try to build out all these data strategy here, it's equally important that we pay our attention onto our technology strategy here. So imagine the case for us to build a very robust and powerful data analytics platform here. We will need to have a lot of key technology foundation building blocks to support that. For example, we need very robust cybersecurity defense mechanisms here. Otherwise, we run ourselves into risk of having like data leakage or various type of security incidents over there. Equally important here, we have to invest significantly into our cloud infrastructure here. Doesn't really matter whether it's private cloud or a public cloud or a hybrid approach. There are lots of fundamental investment we have to make before we can put our data analytics platform on top of that. Another key areas that I would like to highlight here is in a modernized data strategy here, one of the key advantage that I think we could definitely explore deeper in is the self-servicing concepts here. Back to like 10, 15 years ago, having technology platform or data platform, a lot of focus has been put on optimizing computing powers or optimizing the server consumptions over there. But nowadays, with powerful technologies, with all these cloud infrastructure here, you can bear to have, once we have put the correct technology foundation in place here, then we can start looking into how we could, on top of that, build out various type of self-servicing data capability, like self-servicing data visualization, data management, even though data engineering. There are lots of, previously, a lot of very highly specialized, highly technical tasks that must be carried out by technologists here. Nowadays, we can just put that into end users' hands, let them to do their own data processing, data analytics. That allows us to shorten the time to insights quite significantly. So imagine the case back to old days when we are still in the world of building our data warehouse. It could be the case that it takes months for us to get into insights before we can actually make any decisions here. But right now, with all these self-servicing mechanisms here, it's literally just like hours for us to figure out some useful insights and help us to make really timely decisions here. So that's one of the key areas that I think I could highlight here. Okay.
And actually that requires us to pick up the technology much more faster. And would you say that you have merged the data strategy and your IT strategy together pretty well? And how can you share with us how do you do it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Definitely, these two goes hand in hand together. As I've mentioned, without a strong technology foundations, we can't really have a, I would say, a very effective data strategy to be executed over there. One of the key examples here is the cyber security strategy here. For us to build out our data analytics strategies here, equally important, we have to focus on our cybersecurity investment here. We have to make sure all the data we collect from banks, from various channels here are properly secure within our platform here. So without considering the technology part, without first strengthening all those cybersecurity investment like some hardwares, for example, like key management capabilities, or all those like encryption capabilities, all these stuff, we can't really have our data management capabilities open up widely to the organization adoptions here. Another key aspect here that I would also want to highlight in terms of how we can bring the technology strategy together with the data strategy is the how we could do proper when we're making those technology choices here. For example, which cloud providers we should go for, whether we should go for a hybrid cloud approach or whether we should go private cloud or public cloud. There are quite a lot of details consideration that we have to give in, which of course the data strategy play a really important role when we are making these key technology decisions within our IT strategy here.
Okay. Allow me to share that how do we design the cloud strategy in here. Actually, we basically will look at our application and align our regulatory commission's directions with what kind of purpose or functions do we need. And then we don't particularly try to lock on any one of the particular cloud. We base on whether we need the functions of that cloud provider can provide some acceleration or enhancement. For example, if one of the cloud providers are very good at AI and providing an AI platform, that we can create our own traditional AI to help us to do natural language processing, then we will source that additional cloud vendor and work with them to create our needs to fulfill the requirements that we have. That's the direction that we have.
Yeah, sure. That's remind me one thing as well is when we are talking about the cloud strategy here, whether we go for cloud native for time to market or go for a bit more cloud agnostic to avoid vendor lockdown, there's always constant debate that we keep swinging from left or right, but definitely it really depends on the exact use cases, exact applications of that cloud technologies here.
Yeah.
Depends on the application really.
Yeah. And would you say that nowadays technology, given that so many new tools and new functions and coming up, would you say it's much more an enabler or is an impediment to our regulator?
Well, that's really interesting topics here. I think there's an inevitable learning curve here for both sides, both from our end as regulators, also on the regulatory side. So I think one area is when we are trying to push ahead for new technology changes here, it's important that we try to start small here, both from a when we are talking about, for example, data collections, we will try to select a subset of the data areas that we want to start with those new technology initiatives first. And then incrementally, we could sort of like go through various iterations together with the industry to figure out some lesson learned so that help us to constantly refine, like for example, our data dictionary or refine our technology stack to best fit the adoption velocity of these new capabilities here. So Kelvin, what's your take here?
Well, I think most users, and I will certainly say that technology definitely is an enabler. I think the situation you find yourself that technology is an impediment is only when you have too much technology debt. That means you have so much legacy, so much large amount of obsolete system that bear a high percentage of old defined data, but you are obligated to still integrate with them, with the legacy system, so that it kind of drag you down, drag you behind. So in that case, it subtly become, as it accumulate, it subtly become a part of your impediment that you don't realize. You thought you can automate something, but actually at the back, you have a large baggage of obsolete system and out-of-date data that combine with you. So that's why you will very subtly become, how come I build so many technologies, so many different technology, still I'm lagging behind. Part of it is also the manageability. So we need to fight for the manageability as a CIO, because we don't want to build like 500 applications, every single advanced technology coming out of the market, then we jump into the ship and then apply it and see which part that we can apply it. But actually we need to selectively putting it as an enterprise level so that to enhance the collaboration within our company, and so that with collaboration and digitalization, then they can share the information effectively, and they can identify the risk through all these collaborations.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a constant balance that we have to strike here. When we're defining these digitalization or technology strategies here, there are always a view of like, we have to realize additional business value as soon as possible versus we have to clean up some of our technology debt here to make sure our investment is sustainable. There are always constant balance that we have to strike here.
Mm-hmm. So let me switch the topic to lesson learned. Do you have ever any lesson learned to work with the external user or internal user to help them to learn your system and adopt to your new system or initiative much more faster?
Yeah, well, I think that it's a similar approach here. We always want to start small and do it in a progressive fashion here. One way that we're using is we definitely introduce, whenever we try to push for a new technology adoption here, we always go for a sandbox approach here. For example, when we are rolling out our company submission platform over there, the first step for us is really to first introduce the platform to the industry, but also at the same time to try out a sandbox approach, pick a specific use case that we want to test it out together with the industry, and get constant feedback from them and look for improvement and refine our features in a iterative fashion here. And again, another key lesson learned that we have is I would say the interaction with the industry is really important, and that's why we pay a lot of effort on conducting various industry consultation sessions with the industry to understand what's their true pain point here. Try to be a bit more open to, of course, we would like the banks to speak up, to give a bit more feedback on which areas that they want us to give more improvement, or what sort of features they're expecting from us that could really help them to improve their operational efficiency. I think that's really one of the key lesson learned that we've got. Kelvin, what's your view?
We did similar things in terms of the consultation. We primarily separate into pre-implementation and post-implementation. In the pre-implementation period, we did the similar things that we have soft consultation with a group of users, and then show them some, on the next stage, we show them some screen and pilot, and then so that they can try it out at a very high level. Before we roll out, actually we have a massive training with the group user, which is what I'm talking about, the Wings 2.0 that we roll out about 1.5 years ago. That is exactly what we did. After the implementation, post-implementation period, we strengthen the support in terms of answering the call. We expand our team because the system supports 70,000 users. And so that besides supporting the call, we also create another small team to return and evaluate the feedbacks as soon as we can, so that we can put sensible changes into the software. So that's why recently we have a cumulative survey took on the last 4 months. We have 9,000 people answer our survey, and our average score is about 4.4 out of 5, 5 being the excellent. And about 78% of the people answer it 4 or above. So we are very happy about this satisfactory rating, and we believe that is a great success for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Very impressive result. I would definitely hope that I got a similar high score as your Wings platform as well, but we will need to wait and see. I'm cautious about time here. Kelvin, thanks a lot. Really thanks a lot for your time today to be with us here on the stage and have this fruitful discussion together with me. Thanks a lot for your time today.
Thanks a lot. I think it's good for co-sharing. It's wonderful to be here. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm really looking forward for the next chance that we could have further discussion, maybe with a wider group of regulators down the road.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your wonderful sharing. You can come the other side, that's okay.